so glad you could come along.
I put a spell on you.
8, 5, 3.
Grid is live. Initiate light cycle battle.
Welcome, foolish mortals.
For a safe trip, remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the cabin. Be sure to watch your children, and no smoking, please.
Hey guys, welcome back to Pirates and Princesses. This is Tom. I am here with Cam.
Hello.
Together we're Cam and Tom.
That's right.
And,
always.
We're gonna talk about Disney and Universal theme parks in this podcast, like we always do. So we've got all kinds of news for you today. I guess we're gonna start with the Food and Wine Festival starting later this year.
Yeah, it's much later. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some other things like some stuff going on at the parks, movie side of things. There's a couple rumors that are kind of bull crap. We're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about Universal, some stuff in Universal news. We're going to talk about lots of stuff. So
lots of stuff. It's a cornucopia of plenty.
Okay.
Yeah, like that. So please subscribe wherever you found this podcast, whether it's Spotify, Amazon, iTunes. It's definitely appreciated. We're trying to build things back up again. Check us out on piratesandprincesses.net for objective Disney and Universal news. And let's talk about Food and Wine Festival, because they've been starting it earlier in recent years, but now they're pushing it back.
They walked it back. So they announced today that they're going to have the dates out for 2024.
Okay.
It's not starting till the end of August 29th, and going through November 23rd. Now, last year it started July 27th and went through November 18th. And the year before that, it started July 14th and went through November 19th. But now they're going back like 6 weeks later, a month to 6 weeks later, to August 29th.
Yeah, so this is kind of how it was originally, right? Because Food and Wine was always a fall thing, and then they started creeping into summer. And that was like the never-ending festival.
Well, that's just it. There's not going to be a festival this summer because Flower and Garden ends, I think May 27th, I want to say, somewhere in there. So that's when it ends. And then you don't get another festival till August 29th.
Oh, don't worry.
So 3 months.
Somebody will get the brilliant idea to do like Disney's magical summer vacation fest with summer food and...
I have to wonder if they're not going to announce something for that time frame. It's weird that they pushed it back, so the whole summer's open. So you said to me earlier, you think it's to push bookings back to the fall?
Look, this is just an armchair observation, but Disney, the reason they do so many discounts in the fall is like when back to school first starts. My understanding when we used to work with a travel agency was that was a bad time for bookings.
Well, I think bookings are down anyway because I'm seeing different blogs with travel agency sponsors all of a sudden pushing, book a trip, way more than before. So I'm thinking the bookings may be down.
Well, we're in a recession, right? I mean, look, eggs cost a lot more than they used to cost. Everything costs. Like we went to the grocery store and we're in Pennsylvania. I can't imagine like California or New York, but like the prices are skyrocketing. People can't afford, the basic living expenses. Disney vacations were always incredibly expensive. And now it's like, I got to pay my mortgage. I got to pay my car payment. I got to pay.
Insurances keep going up. I got to pay my insurance, you know?
You don't have an extra, most normal people don't have an extra $5,000 or $10,000 laying around. So I'm sure the bookings are down. That's the first thing to go is luxury items.
Yeah. So I mean, it's going to be you have heat, you have medication, or you go to Disney World. You know, and for some people they'll still pick Disney World, and that's cool. I mean, you do you, fam. That's okay. Priorities are different for every person. But so they're pushing it back. There's that option. I'm thinking maybe there's possibility they'll announce something else this summer. It could also be because they have a lot of things opening, like Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Yeah. Which I think is probably going to be, sometime like around, they think Juneteenth, somewhere in that time frame.
They're going to do the Juneteenth festival at EPCOT.
So I don't know if it's because of that. They also have Communicore Halls opening up in June and some other stuff we might be getting opening soon. And I'm wondering if they're trying to push people to different places because of that. I would think you'd want to run it because then you'd have a reason for people to go to EPCOT to take some of the congestion away from other parks. But
Yeah.
I don't know what, there's probably a reason.
I think it's bookings. I mean, again, I don't have any inside knowledge, but I think they're trying to, because look, if you can do one trip in the summer and get Food and Wine Festival in there and then not have to come back in the fall, and most people are going to go in the summer anyway, you know what I'm saying? They're just going to go book that trip for July or August and then not come back. But if they don't start Food and Wine until the end of August, then you're more likely to book in September.
Or is it a case of Food and Wine's expensive and, you know, they're behind on making new things for this year, or they're trying to limit the length of the event to try to keep costs down?
Well, that could be too.
Food costs, as you just mentioned earlier, are higher. I mean, you'd pass some of it down to the customers, but I'm sure at the end of the day, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't get used up. Are they trying to limit the losses? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, we said before, and we talked about it in another podcast episode, the festivals don't seem special anymore when they're all year round.
That's true. And EPCOT, they keep adding more. I mean, and I think their plan was to basically be festivals all year round.
Yeah.
But now they're apparently walking that one back for the summer anyway. What sucks is if you're a person who already booked, thinking you were going to be going to Food and Wine in August, because it's been in all of August the last few years, you're going to have to probably rearrange that because now it's not starting till the last day of August.
Oh, don't worry. They'll start the Halloween party in June.
Yeah, probably. We don't know. Now, that should be coming out soon. The information on that, last year they announced the dates. You know, I don't have it in front of me, but it was around this time. And I think the year before it was like the 28th of April. They announced and started selling tickets in May.
Yeah.
So that should be coming. I would expect that any time now, next week or so. So maybe by next time we do a podcast, we'll have that information for you.
That's always the thing that gets me is like there's a lot of creeping of these events. Like who wants to take their kid to Florida in the heat in a costume in the middle of August? Yeah.
Well, the tickets other than the first night are a lot cheaper to go in August and September. The first night they charge more. Now, I can't wait to see the pricing. Last year, it looked like the pricing stayed the same because the lowest ticket price and the highest ticket price remained the same. Well, however, when you went down by days on the different prices, overall, most dates were up $10. So we didn't change the lowest and the highest. No, they didn't, but they creeped up the tickets mostly $10 each for the rest of the time. So we'll see how that goes this year. Now, also with the Food and Wine Festival, they're going to bring back the outdoor kitchens, of course. Eat to the Beat concert series will be returning. Emil's Fromage Montage cheese stroll will be also there. Scavenger hunts. They have some pictures of merchandise out. If you go to piratesandprincesses.net, you can see it. There's just like, you know, a couple of them are kind of basic.
Okay, I like the trash cans. Are they trash cans?
They're salt and pepper shakers. They do this all the time.
Okay, I should. They do? I've never seen them before.
Oh, yeah, they do it all the time.
Oh.
And then there's going to be a Figment Loungefly bag. Of
course there is.
It's going to probably sell out day one and end up on eBay for three times the price.
Figment's good enough. He's good enough for merchandise. But he's not good enough to actually bring his ride back properly.
And bring Dreamfinder back, yeah. So that's going on with the Food and Wine. It was just interesting that they pushed it back again, but by like a month. Or more. So I don't know what's going on there. We'll find out, I'm sure, closer to. Other news related to Disney. Bluey, a couple things. One, they had that special, the sign, where everybody thought Bluey's house was going to get sold.
I guess that's like the big event.
But it turned out they had like the largest viewership ever, according to Disney.
According to Disney.
10.4 million views. Now, that was an episode that was 28 minutes, so that's a lot longer than it's normal. So that's the case. They got a lot off of that one. But they got 10.4 million views, which they said is about 291.2 million minutes for people watching the quote-unquote last episode of Bluey until they put another last episode of Bluey a week later.
Oh my gosh. Now here's the thing about that though. It's weird because I'm looking at 10.4 million views. I'm like, there are YouTubers that get more than that off of video.
I know.
But it's it's behind the paywall, whatever. Bluey's a big deal. But yeah, people think it's over for Bluey for the foreseeable future because I guess the episode that follows it
that was called what, the surprise.
Yeah, well I found out what the surprise is. You want to know what the surprise is?
Sure.
I'll tell you. Guys, you can turn the podcast off. I don't want to ruin.
Skip ahead.
I don't want to ruin Bluey for you. God forbid, Pirates and Princesses ruins the end of Bluey. No, they think it pretty much is the end because Bluey comes back as an adult to the house years later with a pup. So Bluey's grown up. That's pretty much the end of the kids show when you age the characters up. Like that's how Rugrats ended too.
Now Ludo Studios claiming that they're just taking hiatus so they think of new things to come back and do this. Either that or they are going to stop doing it. They just don't want to tell people that because they know they'll get bombarded. So they want to let people forget about it for a while before they announce that it's over. I don't know that for a fact, but it's really weird that you ended it with a surprise that was that. And I guess there was comments made by the guy in charge that he said, well, you know, if Bluey had to end, I wanted that to be the episode people remembered or something like that. And I was like, okay, so you're ending it. Because what they're working on now is something called Willie, which is about a 15-year-old or a 17-year, I forget, some kid on the cusp of sexual awakening for his new neighbor, Jack.
Yeah, that's quite a bit different than Bluey. So people are probably gonna be like, wait, you canceled Bluey for this. Like, wait, what?
Well, they did. What? So they're claiming it's not canceled. They're claiming it's a hiatus. It's weird they picked that episode to just surprise everyone with, like, they decided to do it like last minute or something. Oh, look, they kept saying last episode was gonna be a sign. Then all of a sudden there's a surprise and Bluey's an adult with a kid.
Yeah, that sounds to me like Bluey's over.
Or they're going to start doing Bluey, but Bluey's the parent now.
That could be too. They could just be like, well, we've run out of stories with this family, so now we got to have. So now is Bluey going to be a single mom or something?
I don't know. What's their kid named Blowy?
Oh no!
Because I mean, it has to be because Bluey is the brand.
No, that's her
name.
husband.
Bluey, Bluey is the brand name. So, you know, yeah. I mean, I don't
Bluey's
think kids
family,
are going to want to tune in to watch Bluey's kids.
It can be like the Hogan family. For those of you who are of a certain age, if you remember, it was Valerie. The show was called Valerie. And then Valerie Harper had a contract dispute with the network. So they killed her character off after the first season. Then it was Valerie's family. And then they just called it the Hogan family. And they brought Sandy Duncan in. So they'll have like Bluey for the first couple episodes, and then she chases a car and gets hit by it, and
well, I don't know, but Disney has a hit with it. You can still watch all of the seasons, you know, on Disney Plus, but I don't know when we'll be getting more Bluey, if at all, because with the end of the sign, it like left the door open. But this other surprise episode kind of either they're going to change direction completely and make it Bluey's kids, or they're going to say it's canceled later. I don't know. It's weird. So why would you skip ahead if you weren't going to cancel it or change it?
Yeah. 9 times out of 10, when they do an episode like that, like I'm thinking the Wonder Years and Rugrats, and where they end it where they're adults, that's it. Show's over. You know, you can't go back. Weird. Once you've seen Bluey as an adult, you can't go back to Bluey being a kid again.
Can't go back to being a child again, no matter how much you try. Anyway.
We try real hard.
We do. We have a lot of toys. Anyway, it's a problem. So there's that. Also, unrelated to Bluey, but something I saw that was really cute is the Hallmark ornaments are starting to be, like they're teasing them out for the release in July. So they have different ones that are Star Wars themed. They have Star Wars ones. They have Haunted Mansion, new Haunted Mansion ones coming for that Haunted Mansion building, which I need to get. They have like a little Mickey in a Space Mountain car. I know there's different ones from Marvel. There's one that I love. It's a Small World, and it's an ornament that spins, and the clock face moves side to side, and it plays the music. And I love it so. So
I'm trying to think of like, what are they getting? So they're doing Small World. They did Haunted Mansion. Are they going to do Pirates at some point?
Well, they do have Pirates ornaments, but they don't have we had one on our tree last year.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think, are they going to do like a big, like an interconnected set? And if they did, what would one of the ships or something be?
I don't know, but they aren't doing that so far. They aren't doing a Small World set. This is just one ornament. But the Haunted Mansion, if you missed it last year, it's going to come out again this year because they're going to have new interactive ornaments for it. They know Star Wars, they do the Death Star and the interactive ornaments. So they have different ones. But anyway, I just thought it was cute and it plays this music and I just wanted to mention it. But if you got to Hallmark.com, you can see the ornaments they're teasing for July 13th.
It does not come with a tiny naked man.
No, nor the keepsake power cord that you have to buy separately.
$15?
After you pay $50 for the ornament.
Oh my God.
Another story I want to mention is real quick. We talked about the Smellephants on parade.
Yes.
More Smellephants have appeared. Now we have popcorn. It looks like a snow cone. And I think it's supposed to be a candy apple, but it looks like a hot dog.
Yeah, it looks like a hot dog to me. I would have guessed that was a hot dog.
But I guess you can see the apple. If you look, there's the swirls, the caramel, and then the reds. Like if it's turned upside down, maybe. Because at Disney they have them always like laying that way. with the stick up.
But he doesn't have a stick coming out of his head.
No. So it's a little confusing. But they have those two out so far. I'm sure we're beginning to see more. I know they said churro was going to be one of them and cotton candy. So that would give us 5 of the 8. I'm not sure what else is coming. We'll have to find out. Hopefully it isn't like hot dog because that'd be nasty.
Yeah. Well, I think they're going to stay with the candy
Yeah, I believe
theme.
so.
Because it's plus you just know if they had a meat scented,
It's going to make me throw up.
somebody's going to be like, oh my God, guys, I'm a vegan and this isn't safe for me because now it makes me want meat and I can't have meat.
Anyway, so I wanted to mention that. We're going to probably see more of those next week, probably. Oh, you can talk about this. They're going to do a Space Mountain movie, speaking of the Space Mountain ornament.
Yeah, so this has been long rumored. That apparently they have tried to get a Space Mountain movie off the ground for a long time. They actually were talking about it around the same time that Tomorrowland came out. Like I think they were trying to build like a Tomorrowland cinematic universe or something, but it just never worked out. And Tomorrowland was a huge box office failure. The movie was okay. The first half was okay, and then after that, it was just got really dark.
It was weird. It was like 2 movies smashed together that weren't like a same continuity. It was weird.
It was like the flashback parts were great. Like I would have loved a retro futuristic, like it just all took place in the 60s. But then when they flashed to the present, it was just everything got really grimdark, and it was like this is like Blade Runner now. It's not even.
It was weird.
It was very weird. But anyway, they're going to do a Space Mountain movie, but they hired the guys that were in charge of the Cowboy Bebop Netflix series, which was so bad and so poorly received that it was canceled within like a week or two of debuting on Netflix.
Now, the studio that did it also did Avatar, though, or One Piece. They did One Piece.
Yeah.
And One Piece was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So maybe they
One
learned
Piece
some
was good.
lessons. I don't know. But that's not a vote of confidence.
I just don't look, they've tried. Pirates only worked because Johnny Depp was Jack Sparrow. They tried Jungle Cruise. It didn't work. Even with The Rock, it was
Jungle Cruise is basically Pirates of the Caribbean.
It was just
again.
Pirates with The Rock in it. Yeah, and it wasn't that good, and it was a misfire. It didn't do very well at the box office. I don't know how you would even handle Space Mountain, and Disney's tried getting its own science fiction series off the ground, and it doesn't work.
I do remember reading, I don't have it in front of me, but I know I covered it before, but I don't know if it was for this blog or the other blog, that there was talk about the Space Mountain movie, years ago. And they had some kind of story they were working with, but I don't remember what the story was. But it probably doesn't matter because they have new people on it. So according to the Hollywood Reporter, action scribes Josh Applebaum and Andre Nemec are going to Disneyland. They're behind the Citadel. So it's a profile spy series
on Amazon,
and Netflix's Cowboy Bebop, which both see that gives me the whole idea though it's going to be some kind of more serious type movie. Because
but for Disney, for like I don't know. I mean, because I'm like, what? Okay, so what is the plot of Space Mountain? Like at least Pirates of the Caribbean, especially the Disneyland version. You can see where they got the plot from, right? Because the Disneyland version is longer than Disney World's, and you see the gold coins at the beginning.
Yeah, because when I was at Disney World, I never understood it. But I rode the Disneyland one, which is the superior version. Vastly superior. I was like, oh, it makes sense now.
Yeah,
I never understood where this came from.
There's a whole scene with the cursed treasure, and then you go into a flashback of how they got to that point, and they don't do that at Disney World. They cut the whole beginning off.
At Disneyland.
But Space Mountain, like even I'm looking at Disneyland's, and Disneyland's is themed better than Disney World's, but you basically just get in a rocket and launch into space, and that's it. That's the plot.
Now they have like the other places where they're themed to Star Wars, or they do the overlays with the Star Wars theming, but it's really dark. The one at Disney World, it's very dark. I mostly just look for the camera lights and just make faces and wave at the camera every time I go through it because I'm being watched.
Disney World's, I can't ride Disney World.
It's very rough compared to Disneyland's. So I guess the guy that's doing that was behind the Netflix Avatar: The Last Airbender series is producing it. Jonathan Eric.
I don't know.
I'm terrible with names. they said it's been developed for several years, which we know, along with Joby Harold and Tori Tunnell of Safe House Pictures. Yeah, I know it's been a long time because I do remember covering this a while ago. I can't remember what they said the story was going to be, but it was back when they had the other writer on it. It is not a new rumor. This thing's been in development hell for years and years and years. So I'm not exactly sure how it's going to go. But, I'm not surprised they're pushing it forward. Well, I am kind of surprised they're pushing it forward, especially after Haunted Mansion didn't do well. I don't know what they're thinking. I give up trying to figure out. It's interesting, though, that Disney went and got people from the successful, Netflix shows or Amazon shows. And they're like, who's doing better than us? Quick poach those people.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know what to expect from this one, if to expect anything. I mean, I would have expected them to try doing this as like a Disney Plus show because, again, the last couple theme park movies they've done, other than Pirates, and even the last Pirates movie didn't do that great. I don't know why they're going back to this. I wouldn't. I'd be like, let's just do like a Disney Plus show and see.
They did that Disney Plus show, and I forget what it was called, but it was like in space with kids where they were like on the moon or something. I forget what it was. I don't know. And that one didn't do well either. So I just don't think there's much demand for this. But who knows? Maybe we'll be surprised.
I think what gets me about this is one, we're not getting new ideas out of Imagineering. They're completely original. Two,
are they allowed to do new ideas though?
I don't think they are.
I don't think they are.
So even what I'm saying is, like, even these classic attractions, they're trying to turn them into IP. It's almost like, let's turn them into IP to justify their existence, because it has to be more than a theme park ride. They can't just put out a good space coaster. It's got to be like, so I'm waiting for them to be like, okay, Expedition Everest, the movie, and if that doesn't work, we're just going to reskin it as something else.
I just think, even Thunder Mountain would make there's more to work with and make a better movie because at least there's a backstory to it.
I thought they were going to do one. I thought they were talking about doing a Thunder Mountain movie because they have that whole, that's actually got a fleshed out story and everything.
But then they have to tie it, at Disney World anyway, it ties to the Haunted Mansion. And I think it does in Disneyland Paris too.
I think so, yeah.
So I don't know. But you think that would be, I don't know. I would do that one over Space Mountain, but it is what it is. So there you go. So they're moving forward on that one.
I would watch a runaway train movie, just like it's a runaway.
I would, like with the mining and stuff.
Yeah, and just be like lots of explosions, and it's like Back to the Future Part 3, and just like.
You know what? It would remind me of like kind of something in the vein of like Apple Dumpling Gang or something like that. Something like Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, a movie would have been better done in like the 60s or 70s. I think with that. I think it would have worked really well. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think it would have worked well back then. I don't know how well it would have worked now, but back then it would have done great. Okay, we're going to move over to the West Coast for a minute. So Disneyland cast members have filed to petition to unionize. Over there, the ones that were like the people involved as the character actors in the parades and things like that, they were not unionized. So they signed, I guess there's 1,700 workers from the parades and character segment that have filed an election petition with the National Labor Relations Board, the NLRB, to try to unionize. I don't think Disney's going to cause them any trouble because there's other unions at Disney World and Disneyland. And Disney World's same segment is unionized. So they're doing that. They're moving forward. I think it'll be like fine. They'll vote on it in May. I guess it goes up to the Labor Relations Board to decide. But they said that it's Actors Equity is who they're working through. The cast members who bring the characters and parades to life have been non-union since Disneyland Resort opened in 1950s and have watched other workers in the park unionize all around them. Just 8 weeks after Equity launched a campaign seeking union authorization cards, we have signatures from the supermajority of those eligible. And that came from the Actors Equity president. Disney, though, they said that basically their statement was, well, we have other groups that are unionized, so...
Yeah, pretty much. Disney's it's so funny because everybody's like, oh, look how progressive Disney is until it comes to paying people. And then they're like, nah, no. We're not going to do that.
I know, but
we'll say we're progressive, but you want more money? Nah.
When they asked about it, they said, we support our cast members' rights to a confidential vote that recognizes their individual choices. So they can't not recognize it because it's going to look really bad when they recognize all the other unions. So I'm sure it's going to go through and Disney's going to recognize it. End of story. But these guys and gals are going to unionize.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was important mentioning. And while we're over there on the West Coast, you could talk about this one.
Yeah, so they had a tram crash at Universal in Hollywood, and this is their classic tram tour. But yeah, it was made the news. Fox 11 had it.
A lot of people were talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah, so this would have happened. Let's see, what day was that? Saturday night, and it happened after 9 p.m. in the City Walk area of the theme park, and they had the fire department show up. I guess 15 people were injured. And
yeah, people were thrown from the vehicle, weren't they?
Yeah. This is a statement that they gave to the Hollywood Reporter. Universal gave it. There was a tram incident at the theme park tonight that resulted in multiple minor injuries confirmed by the LA County Fire Department. We are working to support our guests and understand the circumstances that led to the accident. Everybody kind of speculated as to what was going on. Some people said their stuff's not being updated enough and yada yada. I mean, look, it happens every theme park every day. They have incidents.
Yeah, I had some people said that they thought they hit a rail or something. I don't know, but I know people were thrown from the vehicle. Some people were thinking, but it was supposed to be minor injuries. I haven't heard anything really else about it.
Yeah, it didn't like explode or anything.
No, but it's still terrible that people are, doing the popular, and they're doing like a 60th anniversary thing of this too.
They're doing a 60th anniversary.
And then, you mentioned that here. Celebrate 60th anniversary as tram tours, and then this happened.
Yep.
So it's just mentioning it in passing. I don't think it's anything to worry about. I don't think it's something that normally happens. I don't ever remember hearing about something like this happening before. So,
not with a tram.
60 years.
The monorails in Disney World, they go down all the time.
Monorails.
They go down all the time.
Well, they smell like pee and other things every day.
Smellephants.
They don't not smell good. Also talking about Universal parks, they're going to be doing something. They think it's going to be like 90s theme, 80s, 90s retro theme this year for their parade, and I think maybe the tribute store. They were teasing like a VHS video, and there's little images that were hidden in it, like it was a Ghostbuster, like a ghost for Ghostbusters, and the flux capacitor for Back to the Future, and Jaws shark was in there, and like a bike like E.T., and there were several things that were shown in it. Yeah, I think it's going to be that they're going to do classic attractions this year for the parade. I think that the tribute store is going to feature Ghostbusters. The Universal Mega Movie Parade is probably is a trademark that's been done lately. I think it's going to do like, Jaws and Back to the Future and E.T., those kind of things. So that's probably what's going to be coming out this summer. They're just teasing things now. Nothing's been confirmed. But we do the DreamWorks Land's also coming this summer, even though we haven't got an announcement for that. But they're retheming, I think it was like the Woody Woodpecker area.
Yeah.
Or the kids land, and they're turning that into the DreamWorks Land. So that should be coming this summer as well.
It's very unfortunate. Woody Woodpecker Kids Zone.
I know.
But no, I'm sitting there thinking like, this is how we get all the defunct attractions into an attraction. Like people, except for E.T., which hopefully never leaves Universal. It's like, okay, well, Jaws isn't around anymore. Back to the Future isn't around anymore. Let's, we want to sell merch of this stuff. Let's throw them in a parade.
Yeah. Well, they're definitely pushing for something this year for the summer. They've been teasing it for a while. Everybody's been speculating it for a while. I think they did another tease today. I'll have to look into that when I get a chance later and put it on the blog. But that's likely coming. We're probably going to announce of that pretty soon. So stay tuned to piratesandprincesses.net, and we'll let you know when we know. Also related to Universal Orlando, there's a rumor, and it is a rumor. We don't know yet. But I'm hearing it a couple of different places. They think the Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit is probably going to close soon, which probably is a good thing because that thing is wicked.
Yeah, that is a coaster I will honestly never go on. I can't handle big drops. I literally get sick.
I won't even ride this, and I will ride things.
And it's like straight up and down, right? But yeah, they're talking about closing it, and I have to wonder because just a couple of weeks ago, there was a lawsuit announced that a lady said she had a traumatic brain injury from this ride. And, I'm on the fence about this because people are always suing theme parks and they always post like, hey, if you're prone to whatever, don't ride this. And it really isn't any worse than a lot of big coasters and other theme parks, but it definitely is like the most wicked coaster, I think, at Universal. And it's several notches above anything at Disney.
Yeah, I guess she said that after she got off it, she couldn't remember things. Like she couldn't remember people's names and couldn't recognize people and stuff. Now, I mean, not saying that she didn't have something already going on and that just, triggered it. I know I can't ride the Rock and Roller Coaster, which both have rock in the name, because it bangs my head too much and I can't take it because it makes, I mean, don't ride that if you're wearing earrings, that's for sure. But that bangs you around so much, I won't ride it because it gives me a headache. But they're thinking it's going to permanently close next year sometime. I don't know what they'd replace it with or anything like that. It's just a rumor. We don't know for sure if they're closing it.
I mean, it's possible if they do shut down, they could just be reskinning it, maybe adding some safety features or something. But yeah, it's been around a while. It's always busy. I mean, people like to, I don't know, get injured, I guess.
I mean, at this point, maybe there's so many people talking about how they get hurt on it that they're just like, maybe it's best to avoid lawsuits, just get rid of it. I don't know. But the rumor is they're going to probably close it next year. But again, it's a rumor. And we're going to talk about some more rumors here as we go, because this is all the rumor section at the end. So yesterday, we're going to do two of these. Inside the Magic. Okay. They keep doing these articles that are starting off rumors so bad that Snopes had to step in on this one too after I did yesterday. They're not removing Snow White from the Disney theme parks. Okay. The article kind of implied they were removing Snow White indefinitely from, that's not what's going on. There was an actor who was one of the Snow White face character actors from the Disney college program. Yeah. Got fired. And she got fired. She claims it's for a picture on Instagram she has a picture of herself dressed as Snow White when she was a child. Has it marked Akershus, which I'm assuming she worked at, given some of the other videos I've seen. Yeah. As she was playing, and she was playing the character of Snow White and talking about, dreams come true or full circle or something. I forget how well she worded it. And she claims that Disney fired her over that image and that she explained to them that's not, that wasn't what the intention was. However, if you go out to her Instagram and you look, there are pictures previous to that, like 2 or 3 weeks before she would have been fired, posted up of her as Anna, and at, I think, probably the Royal Summer House, and as, Snow White at Akershus, or walking around the parks. Yeah. So, and it was obviously her. She's posting on her own Instagram, and like she said with Anna, I don't know if I'm elated or gassy, and I know that's the lyrics of the song. Yeah. But it was made pretty clear that, she wanted people to know she was playing these characters, which is a big no-no.
That is a no-no.
So she was fired for character integrity issues. If you got to piratesandprincesses.net in the article, I have the video where she explains her side of the story. I'm not going to say if, I'm not going to get into it too much. You can go look it up yourself. But Snow White has not been removed from the parks. And it got searched so much that Snopes had to do a story on it because that was the issue yesterday.
Yeah.
So then fast forward to today, not to be outdone by yesterday. So then they put another article up, and in this new article, it's about Frozen and Disney World. They called it "A New Land Confirmed: Disney World to make massive Frozen in quotes expansion." No, Frozen Land has not been announced for Walt Disney World. It's another misleading title. If you read the article, they're talking about something that Iger had said, and it wasn't announcing a Frozen Land. We do know that they're going to spend $60 billion on all their parks over 10 years. Yes. We do know that the Disneyland's probably getting an expansion, and they could be getting Frozen added to it. That was one thing I think teased for Disneyland. And Walt Disney World, they're going to try to put something behind Thunder Mountain, and they're going to be doing Tropical Americas at Disney's Animal Kingdom. So we know that they're doing that. Is it possible Frozen could come? Yes. But has it been announced? No. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, why would you even, there have been all kinds of rumors that eventually, Zootopia is going to come stateside, and it might eventually, but it seems like they're putting all their money into the overseas parks.
I heard they were doing a flume ride with the Lion King the other day. People were claiming that.
Mufasa's big drop.
Yeah, no. That's actually funny. The quote that was taken from this whole rumor I'm not trying to throw shade, but come on. It was from Bob Iger. We have a fairly good idea of what's being built near term, but we're purposefully not allocating all of the money because who knows, in 5 years, we could end up with a giant hit movie. Think Frozen. That we want to mine as an attraction or a hotel or restaurant in our parks. So basically, Iger's doubling down on the IP mining crap. But he's saying we could get something else that could not be as big as Frozen that we want to use like we use Frozen. That's not saying Frozen's being added to Walt Disney World.
Yeah, that's actually saying the opposite, because if they were going to do Frozen, they would say, hey, we're going to do a Frozen land and then we're going to free up some space for something else. But I mean, I can kind of see where he's coming from. Like, we don't know of all the stuff we have in the pipeline if any of this stuff is going to be a huge, huge hit. I'm looking at their upcoming animated slate and I'm thinking, none of this stuff is going to be.
They better not take Inside Out and put it during the imagination, because
that has been rumored since the first movie.
They better not, because they're doing another movie, and I guess they had two other emotions, like I think shame and guilt. They cut out because they made it too heavy for that movie. But they better not turn During to Imagination into Inside Out.
They've been talking, but I'm like that's Cranium Command. Right?
Pretty much.
If you do that, that's basically just Cranium. So then why don't you just reactivate that and put Inside Out characters
in that? You don't have to have Buzzy, even though he's still missing.
No, have like Joy or something, animatronic Joy, and you could do that, because then it would look like you're looking through Riley's eyes or whatever.
That would have been a great idea.
That makes a lot more sense, because it basically is the same concept. But like Journey to Imagination, no, that's...
And they could take that. I'm sure you still have the parts that could take the theater from there and put it someplace else.
Yeah,
whatever. But if they didn't want to reopen Wonders of Life for that, because they were supposed to turn it into the Play Pavilion, and then that just went away. So I don't know what they're doing with Wonders of Life Pavilion at this point. So yeah, no, at this point in time, Frozen has not been announced. They're just saying something like, he said something like Frozen. And we do know that they're doing expansions. They're adding Frozen to different places and doing stuff. It is possible, because they like to clone things, that we could get Frozen, more Frozen at Walt Disney World, because we already have the one ride at Epcot and stuff. But that's not what's been announced so far. Yeah. So this was like, I would think this one might be more true for Disneyland than Disney World, but we'll wait and see. But it's not an announcement. So I guess they're trying to find a new rumor, a day to start that someone has to step in and debunk. And we're going to end with one more rumor, and then we'll wrap this up. So we have the Captain America movie coming out, fourth movie coming out next year. What is it? Brave New World? Is that what they ended up with?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Because it was New World Order, and they changed it to Brave New World. Anyway, so people have been speculating a while who the villain would be, which I thought was kind of obvious, given the characters involved.
Right.
But now, apparently in Brazil, they had some pictures of Happy Meal toys. They must have had a deal they had to put out early, or somehow this was like the promotion, because originally it was supposed to release before 2025.
Yes.
So in the new picture, we see that there's Red Hulk.
Yes.
And you can explain this better, because I'm not a comics person like you are.
Well, yeah, General Ross is going to be in it. He's played by Harrison Ford in this movie, and he turns into the Red Hulk in the comics. So that was kind of a duh. When they announced Ross coming back, it was like, yeah, it's probably going to be Red Hulk, because that makes sense.
But the thing is, if he's a villain, I'm confused, because isn't he going to be in the Thunderbolts too?
Yeah.
So I don't know. But anyway, Red Hulk is probably one of the villains in the movie, which, shocker, or at least is going to be in the movie. Not a surprise to anyone.
So I'm just trying to think the CGI with this thing, because the Hulk always looks like the actor that plays him.
Yes.
So we're going to have a giant, red, sweaty Harrison Ford.
Yeah. No, unless it's somebody else's Red Hulk now.
Well, I could be too, but
I mean, there's always that option.
I'm looking at the toy, and it's got the Harrison Ford smirk.
I don't know. It just looks
I think it's going to be basically
it looks like
giant.
He fell on his head.
Yeah,
as a child.
Giant, red, smirking, sweaty Harrison Ford is probably going to be in this movie.
I don't know. So there you go. Oh, I should have put spoiler warning.
Oh, sorry. Well, I think we gathered that. It's at the very end of the podcast. If you made it this far,
I'm sorry.
Yay.
I said rumors.
It was rumors.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what we think is going to happen. I mean, if you don't know that, then I don't want to tell you, because it's kind of like if you watched the Hulk movies before,
Yeah.
It's kind of a given. They're also getting a new Falcon, which I knew was supposed to be his one of his friends that he was the commanding officer of. There's was a Sabra and Diamondback are going to be in this as well.
I don't know how this one's going to do, guys. I'm going to be honest. I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine looks good.
Yeah. I should have mentioned that. They have the trailer for that one. Do you want to talk about that for a minute?
We can talk about it for a couple minutes. It looks good.
It does look good.
That's basically Deadpool Wolverine looks very good. I think it's going to make a lot of money. It is rated R, so
it's very violent. Don't take your children.
Lots of F-bombs, but I think this is the X-Men movie that people wanted for a while. It's going to do really well. If it doesn't make $1 billion, I think it's because it's rated R and because families can't go. Yeah.
But otherwise, this is the movie people have been wanting to see for a long time. Unless they ruin it in some way. You never know. It's Disney. Lately, they just there's a way to shoot themselves in the foot. They find it.
That's true.
You know, but it does look good. I was very excited about it. If you want to go watch a trailer, you can go watch it. It's LFG, and
yeah. I don't know. I think it's going to do well.
I think so too.
Cautiously optimistic.
Hopefully we get a good movie for once.
It's the only Marvel anything I've been excited about in like 3 years. So
right. All right, so we can wrap this up.
I think we're gonna wrap it up, guys. Go out to piratesandprincesses.net again for more objective Disney and Universal news, and please subscribe where we found this podcast. We'll talk later.
Bye. Thanks again for listening. More news and videos are available on our website at www.piratesandprincesses.net. Our YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. If you like the show, please consider subscribing and leaving us a positive review on iTunes and other podcast platforms. This podcast is a production of Clownfish Studios LLC and Web Reef Media, and we'll see you next time.